Everyone is talking about the drama that no one anticipated. Tai and Evelyn's once unbreakable bond has now burst, and the disaster that's developing behind the scenes is worse than anybody could have predicted. Their private fight has devolved into public upheaval due to rumors of envy, treachery, and an unexpected love triangle, and the internet is obsessed. It all began with rumors that Tai was meeting a mystery guy whose identity fans are eager to learn, and that Evelyn had been getting too close to him. What started out as mild criticism on social media swiftly turned into a full-fledged conflict, complete with mysterious postings, articles that were removed, and even live call-outs that astounded fans. In one widely shared post, Tai blasted, "You know exactly what you did," to which Evelyn responded, "Don't play the victim when you started the game. The whole BBWLA community is now split." Fans are searching for receipts that may reveal everything. Producers are frantically trying to control the story, and friend groups are taking sides. Because nothing remains hidden for very long when friendship devolves into competition, and love becomes entangled. The main tale starts at this point. As far as everyone was concerned, it all started with a harmless night out. In downtown Los Angeles, Tai, Evelyn, and the other members of the Basketball Wives LA cast were celebrating the debut of a new skincare brand. Everything seemed picture perfect. The champagne was flowing and the cameras were rolling. However, anxiety simmered underneath the glitz and positive energy. Small glances, fake grins, and a certain vibe that everyone sensed but no one dared to talk about were all signs that something wasn't right between Tai and Evelyn. Insiders claim that once a specific man, a tall, affable businessman who had lately been seen at many occasions with both women, entered the picture, everything began to fall apart. After Evelyn shared a picture with the remark, "Some people don't realize what they have until it's gone," admirers started to piece together his identity. A few hours later, Tai shared a mysterious tale with the statement, "Imagine smiling in my face while texting my man." The internet took off after that. In a matter of hours, fan sites started comparing things side by side, searching through previous footage, and making assumptions that Evelyn had gotten too close to Tai. On many sites, hashtags such as "Tai vs Evelyn" and "Our Love Triangle drama" began to gain popularity. Fans were unaware, however, that the controversy had been simmering behind the scenes for months and wasn't limited to social media. According to production-related sources, Evelyn had been feeling excluded by Tai ever since season 12 shooting began. Due to his boldness, outspokenness, and willingness to call people out, Tai soon gained popularity among fans. According to reports, Evelyn, a franchise veteran, felt excluded. When Tai started dating a guy Evelyn had previously been connected to off-camera, what had begun as a friendly rivalry went personal. According to an insider, Evelyn thought Tai was attempting to steal both her guy and her shine. She believed Tai was doing it to get attention and to guarantee her place on the show. However, Tai's rendition is completely different. Tai reportedly broke down in a passionate confessional that was never shown, saying she was unaware of Evelyn's previous relationship with him. With tears in her eyes, Tai said, "She never mentioned him once. She's now attempting to paint myself as the bad guy. That is treachery, not friendship." Evelyn was not about to back down, however. Things took a completely unexpected turn when the two eventually met in person at a cast breakfast. "You knew precisely what you were doing, Tai," Evelyn said, as she leaned in and sipped her mimosa gently, captured on camera. "Don't act foolish." There was silence at the table. Tai squinted his eyes. "Are you for real now? You've been behaving as if every guy who comes in contact with you is your property. Before you come for me, perhaps examine your anxieties." Evelyn rolled her eyes and shot back. "Girl, please. Being fake doesn't even require that much effort on your part." It was said that before the breakfast became violent, producers had to intervene. However, the harm had already been done. Within hours, the 15-second tape that was released became viral. When Tai threw her napkin across the table, Evelyn called her a snake, and both ladies stormed out in different ways. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. The consequences were immediate. As other actors started picking sides, the tension erupted into group sequences that were almost hard to shoot. Jackie attempted to settle the situation by advising both ladies to be grown, but her advice was ignored. Then came the unexpected turn of events. Purportedly leaked direct messages between Evelyn and Tai's purported lover. Screenshots of flirtatious texts, late-night meetings, and a discussion that seemed to hint at anything more started to circulate. Evelyn never verified the authenticity of the communications, but her silence only served to increase conjecture. Supporters were split. Some defended Evelyn by claiming that the texts were probably fabricated or misinterpreted. Others supported Tai, referring to her as the realest one on the show, and urging for Evelyn to be held responsible. The quarrel was the main plot point by the middle of the season. It felt like the same combustible issue was coming up in every incident, confession, and social media post. Did Evelyn betray Tai for a man? In a since-deleted Instagram Live, Tai responded to the claims, stating, "I've been quiet out of respect, but don't mistake my silence for weakness." Before the lights go off and the cameras start rolling, some individuals act faithful. Then all of a sudden, they forget who supported them. Meanwhile, Evelyn shared a mysterious statement on social media. "Real queens elevate, not compete." It was plain, pure shade. Producers allegedly planned a sit-down session as the disagreement escalated in an effort to persuade both ladies to talk things out. However, sources claim that things didn't proceed as expected. With allegations, receipts, and unfiltered emotion, the altercation became heated. While Tai sobbed and said, "I just want the truth to come out," Evelyn left the scene in the middle. She had no idea that the reality was about to become far more unpleasant than anybody could have imagined. Because what transpired next made every other BBWLA feud look like child's play, as one crew member put it. The love triangle that began as murmurs was going to blow up in front of millions of people, and the cameras were prepared. It wasn't whether Evelyn and Tai could reconcile. The question was whether any of them would live when the truth was revealed. Production resumed the next week, but things were anything from typical. Everyone on the site could see that Tai and Evelyn's tension had reached a breaking point. The cast's planned group excursion to Palm Springs was even discussed in whispers by staff personnel. After weeks of fighting, it was supposed to be a chance to reset the energies and have a peaceful vacation. Instead, it served as the backdrop for one of the most startling on-camera eruptions in the history of Basketball Wives LA. The aura permeated the property from the moment Tai arrived. Evelyn was already there, sipping her glass of rosé and displaying her usual unconcerned demeanor whenever she was surrounded by drama. Jackie, who always considered herself the peacemaker, made an effort to start a conversation. She smiled nervously and continued, "Ladies, we're here for healing and good vibes. Let's move on from the past in LA." Tai only grinned. She tossed her suitcase onto the sofa and murmured, "Some people live in the past." Evelyn's gaze shifted upward. She said, "And some people live for attention." The serene exterior was broken by that single statement. The group supper that evening quickly descended into a heated altercation. Tai lay it all out, obviously frustrated. "You're the one who betrayed me, yet you've been out here talking like the victim. You had the audacity to pretend to be innocent after having an affair behind my back," Evelyn said in a calm but poisonous tone. "You really believe that every guy that approaches you is yours? Please." Perhaps he came to the realization that he preferred a mature lady to a project. The room was filled with gasps. "The fork really clattered into Brooke's plate," Jackie said, looking anxiously at the cameras. "That's Lo." "Lo?" Tai let out a bark. "No. Lo had been lying to me for weeks while acting as if we were cool. Lo is texting him goodnight while grinning in my face." The whole table was quiet for a time. The stress in each breath was audible. Then Evelyn clapped her hands and got to her feet, BBWLA style. "Do you want to discuss texts? Let's discuss how you were trash-talking me to half the cast, claiming that I was attention-hungry. You attempted to trick me initially." Tai shook her head and started crying, but not out of grief but anger. "You have been engaging in this behavior for years, Ev. You act like a victim, cause mayhem, and then leave as if everything was okay. Not now." Producers then had to step in once again. The crew's boom mic shook as Evelyn slammed the door shut as she ran off to her room. With a shudder, Tai muttered to Jackie, "She believes she can ruin me, but I have evidence." Everyone was tense at hearing the word evidence. What evidence? Over the course of the next 2 days, there were speculations that Tai had screenshots of communications between Evelyn and the guy in issue, which showed a very different image from what Evelyn had reported. One source claims that the text demonstrated Evelyn's persistent pursuit of him while he was still with Tai, and they weren't just playful. Tai hesitated when asked whether she would be willing to display them on camera by production. She said, "I'm not here to make anyone feel bad, but I won't have an option if she continues to lie." Evelyn's camp, however, was in disarray. Asserting that the screenshots were doctored and that Tai was only attempting to construct a plot, she began recording her own confessional pieces. With sparkling eyes, Evelyn informed producers, "She's desperate for relevance. I have more than 10 years of experience on this program. She is using me as leverage, and I am aware of how the game is played." Then, however, an unforeseen event occurred. Production learned that the guy at the heart of the story, the one both ladies were connected to, had consented to speak on camera one afternoon as the actors relaxed by the pool. His name was Malik, a fitness entrepreneur who had been discreetly dating Tai for a few months before to the scandal, and he wanted to set the record straight. The atmosphere immediately changed when Malik showed up at the property to shoot. Evelyn feigned indifference, but as soon as he entered, her calmness broke. It was impossible to interpret Tai's face. In order to allow Malik to explain, the producers requested everyone to remain calm. He inhaled deeply before starting. "All of this wasn't what I intended to happen. Tai was the first person I met. Things were becoming serious. After a charity function, however, Evelyn and I struck up a conversation. It went there even though it wasn't meant to." The room became cold. Tai's fingers shook. Evelyn's jaw tightened. "You acknowledge it," Tai muttered. Malik let out a sigh. "I don't take pride in it. I ought to have told you both the truth. I made a mistake." Evelyn attempted to interrupt, saying, "It wasn't like that," but Malik interrupted her. "Come on, Eve, don't pretend it never happened." The air became electrified. When Evelyn realized the cameras were recording every moment, her cheeks flushed. Tai just stood there, looking incredulously at Malik. She said, "You both lied to me. And now that the cameras are rolling, you're attempting to rectify it?" When Evelyn opened her mouth to speak again, Tai held up her hand. "Don't. Just don't." Everyone was left speechless as she left with tears running down her cheeks. That heartbreaking, genuine, and unfiltered moment would turn into the video that went viral on the internet. Social media was inundated with fans criticizing Evelyn for her treachery and applauding Tai for her fortitude. For days, hashtags like Dark Evelyn Exposed and Team Tai dominated timelines. However, one thing became evident even as the truth came to light. This was far from finished. Evelyn wasn't the kind to keep quiet for very long. She was prepared to change the whole tale since she had her own. In the words of one producer, "Just wait if you thought this was the climax." The actual explosion has yet to occur. On and off camera, the days after Malik's confession were a complete mess. Videos showing Tai leaving the altercation went viral on social media, garnering millions of views in a matter of hours. The realest moment in Basketball Wives history was praised by fans, and Evelyn's identity was widely shared on fan accounts and gossip websites. The hashtag Evelyn Exposed was trending for 3 days in a row. If anybody in reality TV is aware of one thing, it's that Evelyn Lozada never gives up easily. Evelyn returned to the internet only 48 hours later with a composed, well-executed Instagram Live that resembled a press conference rather than a tirade. "Y'all are only getting half the story," she stated, leaning toward the camera while sporting a sleek black top and flawlessly groomed hair. "I'm not the only one who has been lying, but I made errors. The internet went down." Her voice was calm yet sharp as she went on. Tai has been acting shady for months, yet she still wants to portray herself as an innocent victim. Additionally, since we're talking things out, perhaps it's time for me to provide receipts as well. Fire emojis and wide eyes were used by fans to flood the comments. Evelyn was going nuclear and wasn't going to back down. Within minutes, Evelyn shared a number of images purportedly demonstrating that Tai had resumed contacting Malik after their altercation, flirting with him even though she had publicly said she was done. One of the messages, which was dated just a week before, said, "We can talk when cameras aren't around." "I still care, you know." The internet exploded. The fan base was divided. While some attacked Tai, accusing her of being calculating and manipulative, others accused Evelyn of inventing the communications. Tai's response was prompt. She retorted in a scathing Instagram story. "I said I still cared about the person I thought he was. Don't misrepresent my opinions. Trying to remain relevant is this woman's obsession. You may be the original, but I'm the truth," was the next statement that went viral on the internet. Furthermore, the truth always prevails. The anxiety was awful back on set. Despite Jackie and Brooke's best efforts to remain impartial, they were inevitably drawn into the conflict. In an attempt to mediate once again, Jackie organized a group gathering at her home. But everyone knew deep down that this would not end amicably. Evelyn hardly said hello to anybody when she got there. A few seconds later, Tai entered with a chilly expression and sunglasses on. "Ladies, can we just talk?" Jackie said gently. "Like actual women? Just honesty, no cameras, no audience." Evelyn interrupted her before she could say anything further. "Reality?" It's strange that someone who has been lying from day one would say that. Tai's mouth quirked. "You do mean you?" "No," Evelyn shot back. "I mean you. You've been leaking false information to blogs in an attempt to boost your reputation. Do you truly believe that producers keep me in the dark about what's happening?" Tai got to his feet. "Evelyn, you've been doing reality TV for too long. The distinction between a scenario and reality is no longer discernible. You term it content when you harm others for influence." Evelyn gave a bitter, sardonic chuckle. "You signed up for Basketball Wives, my dear, not Bible study." Everyone in the room let out a gasp. Jackie seemed to be at a loss for words. "All right," she responded hastily, attempting to defuse the situation. "This will never happen again." Evelyn wasn't finished, however. She gave Tai her characteristic look. "Do you want to discuss betrayal? Let's discuss your attempt to hook up with one of my ex-boyfriends last year. Do you believe I was unaware? I didn't care, so I ignored it. Now, though? Do you want to pretend to be a saint now?" "Please, girl," Tai's mouth fell open. "You're telling lies." "Oh, am I?" Evelyn quickly responded and took out her phone. "Because I have photos." There was silence in the room. "This is crazy," said Brooke in a whisper. Evelyn displayed blurry pictures of a meal, a bar, and Tai sitting next to a guy she had dated in the past. Was it evidence of a romantic nature? Not at all. However, Evelyn was aware that perception was crucial. "Evelyn, that's low," Tai whispered. "You're using outdated pictures as a weapon to improve your image. You're getting there. We're ruined, and people's reputations were put to the test in unexpected ways." "Reaching?" Evelyn remarked as she took a step forward. "No, my love. I'm taking back my authority." They were inches apart and face to face for a moment. There was an electric tension. Jackie pushed herself between them and yelled, "Enough! Enough, enough! It's not worth it." Insiders said that while the cameras stopped for safety, the ranting continued. According to reports, Evelyn threw her phone on the driveway and stormed away once again. "I'm so tired of her twisting everything," Tai said to Jackie as she broke down in tears after she left. "I did nothing wrong at all." Ever the reality guru, Jackie let out a sigh. "Baby, perception is reality in this game. You must determine the kind of truth you can tolerate." Tai and Evelyn face off in explosive confrontation. Receipts, lies, and betrayal was the headline of the next morning. Online videos of the previous evening's pandemonium, including Evelyn pointing, Tai sobbing, and Jackie yelling, surfaced. More than before, fans were split. Some demanded that Tai quit the program, while others urged Evelyn to issue an apology. Sometimes silence says more than words ever could, even Malik said in an ambiguous tweet. However, the one thing that none of the people in this triangle could maintain was quiet. Because the greatest surprise hadn't even been revealed yet. As producers had intimated in previews for the next program, one more piece of information that neither Tai nor Evelyn had anticipated may completely change the course of events. And everything would change when it eventually became widely known. One thing became certain when everything had subsided. This dispute will go down in Basketball Wives LA history. There was more to the Tai and Evelyn story than a simple dispute between co-stars. In front of millions of people, it turned into a full-fledged cultural moment, a conflict between pride, allegiance, and the truth. Fans were split and friendships. There was a scene at the conclusion of the last show that had everyone talking. On the reunion special, Tai and Evelyn took a last seat across from one another. The stillness in the room was deafening and the energy was dense. At last, Evelyn spoke first, her eyes welling with tears. She said, "I didn't mean to hurt you. I made poor decisions. However, I didn't merit the animosity that accompanied it. After inhaling deeply and looking down, Tai answered, "Evelyn, you hurt me. As a lady, not merely as a buddy. However, I've discovered that forgiveness is about releasing yourself, not about absolving someone else." The crowd exploded in cheers. The host seems astounded as well. Viewers were reminded that there were actual individuals with genuine suffering beneath the drama and shadow, which was a rare moment of unadulterated emotion. Evelyn nodded slowly and said, "Maybe this is our piece," in a quivering voice. However, whispering resumed as soon as the cameras stopped recording. Was the truce genuine? Was it just another TV-worthy event to put out the fire? Fans weren't persuaded, and the reunion video quickly gained popularity and sparked discussions on social media. Evelyn showed growth, according to some. Tai, according to some, was too lenient. Everyone did agree, however, that this season had been among the most spectacular to date. And just when everyone believed the story was over, a fresh twist surfaced online. Anonymous screenshots that suggested another cast member had been supplying the blogs with gossip. Is Jackie there? Or someone more intimate than anybody thought? Fans are already clamoring for answers on the internet. Since every apology conceals a new secret, every truce conceals another betrayal, and every season concludes with more questions than it began. There is no such thing as over on Basketball Wives LA. What do you believe really transpired between Evelyn and Tai? Was that reunion scene staged, or was Evelyn really sorry? And did both ladies need closure, or do you believe Tai was too quick to forgive her? We read all of your comments, so please share your opinions. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more explosive breakdowns if you're a sucker for the mayhem, heartache, and unadulterated emotion of Hollywood's most unpredictable reality stars. The tea never stops flowing when it comes to Basketball Wives LA, so expect more drama, controversies, and undiscovered tales.